Welcome to MVN Stories, where we tell stories with heart, inspired by dreams and filled with meaning. Let's begin. The road Jack fixed. In a small town, where life moves at its own gentle pace, there's a road. Not a glamorous road, not one that people would write about, but one that's been weathered by years of traffic, the seasons, and time. Jack stood at the edge of this road one morning, looking down at its cracked surface. He had been called in to fix it, to fill the holes and smooth out the wear. The work was never exciting, but it needed to be done. And Jack, like the road, had become part of the background. People didn't notice him unless something went wrong. His tools were simple, nothing fancy. A trowel, a shovel, a bucket of fresh asphalt. He had his routine, and in a way, he'd come to enjoy it. It was quiet. The only sounds were the rhythmic tap of his tools and the occasional rustle of leaves. The road had seen better days. Potholes had formed from years of wear. Cracks were spreading like the lines on an old face, and the asphalt seemed to sag under the weight of time. But Jack knew it well. He had patched it up before, time and again. It wasn't glamorous work, not like what Mia was doing. Mia was his friend. She had been off on one of her big projects again, designing parks in cities far away. She'd send him messages, filled with excitement about her work, and Jack would smile. He loved hearing from her. But as she talked about new designs, city plans, and creative projects, Jack couldn't help but feel his own work seemed small in comparison. He fixed roads. He smoothed asphalt. No one would ever name a park after him. No one would ever look at a road and say, "That's Jack's work." It was a job, and a quiet one at that. Yet, as Jack worked, he thought about something Mia had once said to him: "It's the small things that add up, Jack. Even the tiniest contributions make a difference." And so, Jack worked, one crack at a time. He filled the holes, smoothed the surface, and with each pass, the road started to look better. By midday, Jack had made significant progress. The road wasn't perfect, not yet, but it was beginning to look like something people could use again. Jack wiped the sweat from his brow and stood back for a moment to admire his work. It was quiet. No cars had passed yet, but he could imagine them: the busy commuters, the cyclists, the joggers who would soon fill the road. Just then, Mr. Jenkins from the bakery drove by. He slowed down when he saw Jack working. The bakery was just down the street, and Jack had been hearing about the town's need for road repairs for months. "Looking good, Jack," Mr. Jenkins called from his car, rolling down the window. "This road is going to be smooth again soon. I can already tell it'll make a difference." Jack smiled and waved back. He appreciated the kind words, but they weren't exactly what he'd hoped for. Still, it was nice to be noticed, even if it was just for a moment. As the day wore on, Jack continued working, his mind focused. But then, something unexpected happened. A young girl, barely in her teens, came skating down the freshly paved road. She zoomed past him, weaving in and out of the newly smooth sections of the street. Her face was lit up with pure joy. "Wow! This is going to be so much fun to skate on," she shouted as she passed, her voice full of excitement. Jack watched her skate off into the distance, her laughter still echoing in the air. It was a sound he hadn't expected, but it felt good. Maybe the road was going to make a difference after all, even in ways he hadn't imagined. He returned to his work with a new sense of purpose. It wasn't just about filling cracks anymore. It was about creating something that people would enjoy, something that could be a small joy in their day. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, Jack took a final step back and admired the road. The rough patches were nearly gone. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. He wiped his hands on his pants and stood there for a moment, just looking at what he had done. And then, to his surprise, a car pulled up. The mayor stepped out, his face lighting up with a warm smile as he walked towards Jack. "Jack," the mayor said, shaking his hand, "I just wanted to personally thank you for your hard work today. This road looks fantastic. It's been a while since it's been this smooth. You've really made a difference here." Jack stood there for a moment, taken aback. The mayor? Thanking him for fixing a road? It wasn't something Jack ever expected. "You don't always get the recognition you deserve," the mayor continued, "but your work is crucial. It's what keeps everything running smoothly, even if it's not glamorous. People will appreciate this road more than you know." Jack felt a swell of pride in his chest. It wasn't about being famous or getting recognition. It was about knowing that his work mattered. That the road he had just paved would make life easier for countless people. Maybe the work was small, but it had value. And sometimes, that was all that mattered. That evening, Jack sat down to check his phone. Mia had sent him a message. "We just finished the city park map. So rewarding. How's everything with you?" Jack smiled as he read it. He typed back, "Funny you should ask. I just finished fixing a road here. The mayor thanked me for it. I always thought the work I did was small, but turns out it makes a bigger difference than I thought." Mia's reply came in seconds. "That's awesome, Jack. Sometimes it's the little things that have the biggest impact. You should be really proud of yourself." And Jack did feel proud. Maybe the road didn't have the sparkle of a city park or the grandeur of a skyscraper. But it had made a difference. Sometimes, the work we do goes unnoticed. It feels small. It feels insignificant. But in the grand scheme of things, every effort counts. So if you ever feel like your work is invisible, just remember, it's the small things that build the big picture. The roads that seem insignificant are often the ones that make the greatest impact. Thanks for watching MVN Stories. If this story touched you, leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more moments that matter. Until next time, take care.